unless you want to touch any more on La Piedra.
No,
Uh,
yeah, let's talk Christian Walker. That's so interesting.
so yeah, over the winter meetings again, it was a lot of nothing. It was a lot of fluff on the rock. And then Christian Walker was listed as at the top of the Mariners. I'm sorry, I need these back. The top of the Mariners wish list for the offseason. As I told Britt, before we started this, I can wish for my hair back. That doesn't matter. If there's no action behind it, if I don't go to Turkey to get a transplant, which I don't plan on doing, um, I just, you know, I'm like many other who have followed this franchise in a myriad of ways. I know Divish put out a really honest tweet about it during the winter meetings. We're all tired of hearing interest. I think there was a meme from the Red Sox fans too that was like, had interest, hang the banner. Because even in this report from the Times, it's Walker's interest in the Mariners is not known. Obviously with Christian Walker, a guy who, as Britt told me, his OPS hasn't gone below, I think you said 800
Correct.
for some time. He's been a Gold Glover the last 3 years. He got MVP votes in the 23 season. The Yankees have a hole at first base. The Nationals are fascinating, and I'm sure a bunch of other teams will look at him. The Mets might look at him if they don't bring back Pete Alonso. So you're gonna be competing with the big boys for this, and you don't have big boy money.
No.
I
And
mean,
you'd
he's fun
have
to
to
look
pay
at
the
though.
Seattle tax on top of big boy money.
Yeah, yeah, and then even if you do sign him, considering that it's been reported on multiple occasions by, you talk about, I think my big four. I know Passan hasn't, but we're gonna throw a big four for the reporters I trust, and Jude, Divish, Kramer, and Passan. Those three in the like local column have all said it's like your allowance is 15 to 20 million.
Yeah.
That guy is gonna command the higher end of that. And even if you can land it, that's some God's grace. Christian Walker has a dream. He needs to be in Northwest Green and a City Connect jersey. Like, uh, then that's all of it though. Like you got given a 20 and you spent the 20. So I don't know. Besides my doom and gloom, what are your if we're playing in a fantasy world and you are a legitimate suitor, what excites you about a Christian Walker and his fit in Seattle?
Yeah, if the Mariners somehow stumbled into money, found it tomorrow or whatever, um, I would. He kind of flew under the radar for me, and that's as someone who has paid attention to the Diamondbacks and kind of actively cheered. I've always known that he is a good ball player. 4 WAR in 22 and 23, 3 WAR last year. The conversation around him has kind of been like, he's getting older. He's what, 33 years old, and he certainly is. And then also you look at his Savant page, and he's still hitting the ball real hard. His exit velocity last year in 2024 was in the top 9% of Major League Baseball. So there aren't indications that he is actively slowing down. Sometimes we look at these guys at 33, especially first baseman, it seems, and they're starting to slow down right around this time. He would certainly, in my mind, be worth a 3-year deal. It would probably have to be more than 20 million a year average just to play in Seattle. But I that would be an awesome pickup. I would love Christian Walker for the Mariners. I think that would add some pop. This team just needs some pop. They outside of Julio, they don't have a whole lot of it. Randy can run into one here and there, and you've got Julio and Cal, and they just need someone that can do consistent damage. So I like it. I also can acknowledge it feels like we are dreaming.
Yeah, this is all very much yeah, like you said, if we run into some money, um hoping that the leash gets a little uh, looser. I think that's right.
Yeah,
uh
longer.
yeah, longer leash. I just don't see that happening. But I don't know. Maybe our front office is, hey, you see this guy? He's got 3 gold gloves. You know, he's got power. Well, okay, sure. Throw some more on there. And Chan's been doing pretty well. Throw it on there. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun to look at, and I mean, he's although the chances are low on him anyway. Like chances are better on him than a Pete Alonso in the free agent market. I mean,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. What's interesting with Pete is I saw a report nationally that his market's like non-existent right now, which is pretty fascinating. I mean, for a guy who has the power, had a great playoff run.
Yeah.
I just find that weird, and maybe now since the Yankees have lost out on, he lost out on Juan Soto. Maybe they just signed Max Fried. I mean, I wouldn't doubt they'd go and look at Pete. I don't know. So I put Christian Walker as more likely anyway, and probably someone who'd be better there anyway. I know Pete, Perry Hill would salivate at having a 3-time Gold Glover.
Oh, God, that would be his
there,
heaven.
So, yeah, and I mean that's kind of again the extent of it. Something that slightly goes back to the trade market is, when Jerry met with well, he's on MLB Network, and then I don't know if there was like a full scrum or what.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, how about those M's?
Oh, I'm excited.
I know. Where are you going to watch all those away games, though?
Away games. Huh. I was thinking of coming here since, after all, Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports.
I love that idea. Hope to see y'all here.
Hello there, everybody. Charles Hamaker here with Circling Seattle Sports. I'm joined by Jen Barnes of Rough and Tumble that we happen to be at right now.
Yeah.
Jen, why don't you talk to me a little bit about what we're announcing today, which is our partnership.
I'm so excited about this. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I think all of us here at Rough and Tumble are big fans of what you and your team at Circling Seattle Sports does. And so, I know you know this, but when you came to me with this idea, it just seemed pretty natural. And it's not just me. I think a lot of people in the sports community in Seattle also really respect you and your team. So it's exciting to kind of see these two things melding together, and we're really excited to start implementing some of the things and then hopefully seeing you guys a little bit more often.
Yeah, and so with what Jen says about seeing us more often, we've got a few things in the works, but you'll see watch parties here. We'd like to do a few different of our community drives, which you'll hear about here in a little bit. From now, we've got to make our announcements one at a time. I can't drop everything.
Not everything
right.
all at once.
But this has been a home for a lot of our team, whether it's myself, our friend, our photographer Liz is behind the camera. Liz is here often, so our team has kind of adopted this place kind of like our own since I saw you at our soft launch. So, it's been great to have that support. And in a lot of ways, and part of the reason I wanted to do this was the Rough and Tumble embodies a lot of what Circling Seattle Sports wants to do. Obviously with women's sports, with the storm and the rain, but just being, having the game on, every game on.
Yep.
How much of that, did you see a line kind of even before this idea was mentioned when I first met you?
I think it's always felt like that. I mean, you and your team were here on opening night, and you just feel like you're part of the space, so it felt like really natural. And the fact that you actually cover all the sports really makes your group stand out. So you are always covering all the rain games, all the storm games. UW women's softball, UW women's basketball, UW women's hockey. We love it. So all of those things, and obviously passionate M's fans, passionate Hawks fans, and passionate Kraken and Sounders fans. So really, from our perspective, those two things meshed really well.
So, you heard it from Jen herself, but this will be our home for all of these events, whether it's you can't make it to these games at home, we're always going to direct you to Rough and Tumble, and obviously the games on the road as well. All these, we're talking about the rain, they've got their schedule out finally,
Yeah, yep.
But this will be our home for that.
Great.
The storm games on the road. this is our home
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes.
I love it.
And when I mentioned it to Jen when I first had this idea come up, I had this idea come up wearing a pink wig.
Yes, you did.
Ahead of Megan Rapinoe's final regular season home game for the Reign this past year.
Yeah.
I told her it's because I wanted this to feel genuine.
Yep.
I wanted a connection to feel genuine, and it does. So
Yeah.
that's what this is. Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, and I'm so excited to finally announce this partnership.
I can't wait.